And I'm here in the pits with the USAC midget driver of the car number 78, Jerry Cook. Jerry, how you feeling this afternoon?
Real good. I think we're ready to go.
You ready to go? Are you from Tucson?
No, I'm from Bowie. That's about 100 miles east of here. It's a real small town.
Do you do any racing up in Bowie or up in that area?
No, this is our closest track, and the next closest track is Las Cruces, New Mexico. We do a lot of racing at Las Cruces and El Paso, and here in Phoenix. That's all our local tracks.
How have you been doing so far this year?
Well, last time we were here, we won our heat and ran 5th in the main event, and we've had a few problems this year, mechanical breakdowns, but we're starting to get going this year where we're doing pretty good.
How about in the point standings? Where do you stand?
In the point standings here with USAC, I don't know. I'm probably about 12th or so. I did pretty good that last show, and that should have helped me out. But before that, I had broke the last 2 shows here before that. So we kind of don't run for points anywhere we go. We kind of run more outlaw and kind of run where we want to run and not worry about points too much.
What do you think of Raven Raceway, the track itself?
I really like the track. I'm really impressed with the way Dave Maness has put it together, you know, as to what it used to be, because I've been coming here since I was a little kid with my dad. He used to race stock cars and stuff, so you know, I can't believe the way the track is. I think it is as good as Manzanita Speedway, you know.
Or the rest of them.
Yeah, or the rest of them. I've seen a lot of racetracks around the country, and I'm really impressed with the way Dave's got everything going here. I really like the track service also. Sometimes.
Now, how does this track compare with, say, the track that you're racing in Las Cruces, as far as the competition goes on the tracks, both tracks?
I think competition-wise, we got some of the same guys coming over here as we do over there, but I think the competition is a little tougher over here. And as far as the track goes, as far as over there, it's a little more high banked and stuff. But as far as competition, I think it's about the same. You know, the track surface itself as far as racing groups go, because it's a real wide track over there, just like this one is. And I think if they could keep the track pretty tacky here, that you know, the racing would be better if we had more than, you know, like 3 or 4 racing grooves instead of it drying out and having one.
Having the one groove.
Yeah, because when you start running around the inside of the track, you know, during the main event, it's not as competitive, and we don't put on as good a show as I think we could, you know, if the track was real tacky.
How about this USAC Midget number 78? What kind of suspension? You had the 4-bar suspension on this car? Or?
Yeah, this Jack Ritch chassis, and it was built in Phoenix, and it's a 4-bar, and we run a 166 cubic inch Chevy motor, and it's, you know, it's basically the same as most of the cars out here.
Car handling pretty good?
Yeah, this car works really good. You know, I can make it work on any racetrack I go to.
Any rollovers this year?
No, I haven't been upside down this year, and I've only been upside down with this car one time, and it was here at Tucson about 3 years ago, and you know, it didn't tear up the car too bad.
So what do you do in your off time when you're not out here racing or in Las Cruces? What do you do for a living?
Well, I work for Southern Pacific Railroad, and that's why I live in Bowie. That's my hometown, but I'm lucky enough to work there.
How do you happen to get off the weekends?
Well, sometimes I don't. You know, it's last weekend I ended up having to work on a big train derailment over in New Mexico, and you know, so we didn't get to race anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you've got to put the job first. Racing's got to come second as much as you don't want to sometimes.
Yeah. Generally, I'm off, you know, most weekends. So.
Well, Mr. Cook, hope to see you cooking out on the racetrack tonight.
Okay.
Good luck to you,
Thank
and
you
keep it in the safe lane.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm here with USAC midget driver, car number 45, Hank Winter. Hank, what does loose dirt mean? Is that your nickname?
No, those are some buddies of mine that do all our fabricating.
Oh, is that right?
Do all our Nerf bars, and we're keeping them busy this year.
Oh, your Nerf bars? What are the Nerf bars? Those
all the kickouts and the bumpers and anything that we need fabricated, they do it.
How you been doing out here at Raven Raceway this year?
Struggling.
Struggling?
Yeah.
Any heat races won this year yet?
One up in Phoenix.
One up in Phoenix?
Cost us a motor doing it, but it was our first. We're ex-off-roaders and trying to get it together.
Right? Ex-off-roaders into the midgets now.
Yeah, a little cheaper.
What about the car number 45? Tell us a little bit about the history of it and what kind of suspension and engine and so forth that you have.
Well, we use a Dino motor, and it's a Stewart chassis. It's pretty common, pretty similar to all the ones that everybody else runs, and it's a 4-bar setup, and it works real well. We've had good luck.
Where else are you racing at besides Tucson?
We run up in Phoenix, and we're getting ready to go out to New Mexico and El Paso, right?
Yep.
And maybe if luck starts coming our way, we might go out to Belleville and Ascot a little bit. But
have any points yet in the standings as far as the USAC Western Division goes?
No, nothing to speak of. Nothing to brag about, that's for sure.
Let me ask you this. How is the car handling? Is it handling good right now, or have you made a lot of major adjustments on it?
Well, like I said, we're learning a lot, so we're doing a lot of experimenting and just flat trying to do a lot of guessing, and but it takes some time. A lot of these guys have been here a long time, and they help us out a bunch, and so someday we might we'll get there.
You'll get there. Huh? How about the engine? You got enough power?
Yeah, this is our small motor. Our spare one was the one that we blew up in Phoenix a couple weeks ago, so it's a little under horsepower compared to everybody else, but it hangs.
How long you been racing?
We got into three-wheelers when I was about 18, and then off-road cars, and then the midgets. This is really about our, we're into it for about 2.5 years now.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
How about the last couple of years? Are you just like in your learning stages right now?
If some luck came our way, I think it's starting to roll together a little bit, but we'll get up there and then something happen, I'll spin out or something like that. But I guess you got to do that to learn it.
Sounds like my old racing career. Hank, good luck to you. We'll see you out on the racetrack.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. This is Jack Jacobs, and I'm here with Marion Smiley, car number 9. And we're in the pits of Marion, you did a good job. Good. You did a good job of driving last week. The car was handling good. Almost looked like you may have lost it there at the end because somebody got in front of you. What happened?
Just come up on the lap traffic, and actually there wasn't anything that he did wrong. I was just trying to figure out which way to go to get around him.
And you chose the right way on the outside.
Well, I guess I did. We ended up getting there before anybody else, luckily.
Yeah, it looked
but
good.
It's kind of confusing when you come up on someone like that, and everybody's running so much faster than he was. It's hard to make that decision.
Yeah. The car looked good last week. Are you happy with the car and the way it's handling, the way it's performing, the engine-wise, and so forth?
I'm tickled to death with the car. I think that the crew that's worked on the car with me and everybody's worked hard, and they've done a real good job.
I talked to Scott, one of your pitmen, during the weekend. Scott mentioned that he still may have a little bit of overheating problem. Have you corrected that? Or?
Yeah, it did overheat again last week, and I checked the car out Sunday morning, and the radiator was packed with mud, and it was partially plugged from back east where we bought it. And I bought the radiator back there also that was used up another car. And so we put a new radiator in it this week. A little bigger one.
Now, toward the end of the main event there, did you have a chance to look at your gauge to see how hot it was? Did you know it was hot out on the racetrack, or did you know it was hot when you came back in?
Yeah, I knew it was warm. Yeah, I knew it was running a little warm.
What temperature was it?
About 230.
About 230.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line at when it's up that way? I know it's at the end of the race, and you're about to win the main event.
It depends on how many laps you have to go and just how hot it gets. If they went ahead and pegged out the gauge and we had 10 laps or so to go, I'd have gone ahead and pulled her in. But being we only had just a couple laps to go, and we still, the gauge wasn't pegged, so we chose to go ahead and try and finish.
Yeah. Well, good. The car's handling good. You're looking good. I know everybody was happy that you won the main event, especially Art over at the Cove Road Lounge.
Yes.
He's had something to talk about all week long.
I bet he has.
And I know Art will be back out here again. Hey, go ahead and win it again tonight.
Oh, I'd love to. We're going to be there trying, but there's about, I'd say, 8 top-notch cars out here that can win any given night.
That's right.
And no one person's going to win them all.
No.
So we're just all going to have to take our turn and do the best we can do. If we run 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th, that's no disgrace. We're going to go home happy. This is a hobby for us.
That's right.
So,
well, good luck to you tonight.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we'll see you in a winner's circle.
I hope so.
Okay. In your finger, Dan. This is Jack Jacobs. I'm here once again with USAC midget driver Dave Burns, car number 73, which isn't here tonight. It was tore up last week. Dave, what happened over there around the corner when you flipped over? How come you flipped, well, explain what happened.
I caught the inside berm that pulled the front end up off the ground and got the rear bumper in the track, and then it just started endoing.
Were you conscious when the car flipped over? Or?
Yes.
Were you? Did it ring your bell at all, or?
Yeah, it cut my damn nose off.
I guess that was a dumb question. How long are you going to have the cast on?
They probably another 2 months.
Another 2 months, but I'm sure you'll be back out racing again, huh?
Yeah, just as soon as they get it down below the knee or something, I can get back in. I
Get
will
back
be.
racing. How are you standing in the points this year as far as the USAC Midget Western Division?
It's third, I think.
Third, huh?
Yeah.
So that sort of knocks you out. Anybody else going to be driving your car or the spare car that you have?
Yeah, Jeff Hibner's going to run the spare car tonight. He was running it 2 weeks ago when that happened.
Uh-huh. His points don't go on your points, though. Is that correct?
Well, the car points will.
The car points will?
Right.
That's
Because
how
they
they work.
retain the same number.
How was the car handling that particular night? Was it handling real good?
Yeah.
It was just a mishap, something unfortunate.
I just screwed up.
You screwed up,
It was
huh?
all my fault.
It was all your
It was
fault.
all my fault.
Well, we couldn't tell because everything was flipping and flying up in the air over there. How you feeling right now? You feeling pretty
Yeah,
good?
feel pretty good.
Yeah.
The face is healed up, the legs still sore, and the ribs and chest are still real sore, but I'm up and about.
Is this about the worst thing that's ever happened to you since you've been racing?
Not really. It's probably going to keep me down longer than any of the others.
Yeah, but you have been in a few of them.
Yeah.
A few of them before. Well,
Yeah, the last bad one was here in '83.
is that right?
Yeah, on the old half mile.
Uh-oh. On the half mile, you
That
can
was
really
last,
get
that was
into
the last
some.
time I was upside down.
You can really get into some fixings then, can't you?
Yeah, it's about the same. It was about like this DI.
How bad was the car tore up? Was it tore up pretty bad? Can you put it back together?
Yeah, they got it right now. They're going to put a clip the front end
Uh-huh.
and then just put it from the roll cage forward, new chassis, new frame on it. That's all it hurt.
So there won't be no problem. It'll be back out as a backup car, or are you going to use it as the main car again?
Well, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm going to use it for a backup or a main car or what.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I got a couple of months to figure that out.
Okay. Are you going to sit up in the grandstands tonight and watch the races?
No, I'll just go back and forth and watch these two cars and then come back over here. And I'm just helping Jerry and Jeff tonight.
You get around pretty good with those crutches?
Yeah.
You learning?
I got me a wheelchair here. I'll make these guys push me when it's very far.
So you're going to just sit back and relax
Yeah.
tonight?
If I figure out how to get on one of these four-wheelers, it might be better yet.
That'd be all right, too. Well, Dave Burns, it's nice talking with you. Good luck to you in the future.
Okay.
Hope to see you back out here real soon.
Oh, yeah, probably end of August, 1st September.
Great.
We'll be back.
We'll be looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Well, we've got one, a couple of them spun out on the back corner just during hot laps right now. Also, Gene Scheer having his problems during hot laps over on the number 4 corner. stalling out. Gary's towing out there, going to shove him off. Well, these guys want to know what their car is going to do in the race, so they get a little bit serious sometimes during the hot lap session and put the pedal to the metal.
Kind of look upon that as the last opportunity to find out what you can do with it, what the current condition is like. A lot of this, you know, after they leave this circle, actually get back there in the pit field, and they will walk over to the fence several times, getting observations of the track, guessing how it's coming along and how it's going to change what they call the stagger on these machines, which has to do with the width of the tires on the machines. Sometimes they'll over gauge and put too wide a tire on, or under gauge it and go with something a little less, and that's just part of the overall chemistry that these guys work on from the point in time when they and the machine arrive until they actually come out and race in the heat races, trying to get qualified for the mains or the semi-mains or whatever.
Or too much air or not enough air. And they adjust. A lot of them have those adjustable shocks. And like the midgets, they have those 4-bar suspensions, and they can adjust those. Track a little bit wet out there tonight, but the midgets will make their own groove, and the late models will bring it on the inside. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of groove, what kind of berm that we're going to have tonight. Now, talking to a few of the fellows in the midget division, they said that they've been running one groove out here, and a lot of them like to have about 3 different grooves, and it hasn't been working out for them that way this year. But you notice once that track gets a little bit drier, the late models tend to run on the inside, especially the guys' cars that are handling good.
So we've got our usual stash of goodies that we'll be giving away later on this evening based on your lucky program numbers, and if you haven't already done it.
Bucket at 7149 East 22nd Street, where friends meet.
You haven't been hanging out there, have you?
I'm not telling.
And certainly not at that other place afterwards.
What other places? Oh, no. I'll be very honest. Be very honest with you, Tom. Last week when we finally walked out of here after you typed up all the reports, that was a good job. I seen that in the newspaper.
They must have really done some editing if it was a good one then.
We went over to the secret hideout of the Smiley gang, and they were all gone. So we must have got out of here pretty late last Saturday.
We are.
We got
yes, we are. Listen to it now. He's talking to himself.
You got me again. How you guys been doing that? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you all here on a Friday night. Going to briefly touch on what's going to go on tomorrow night. We have a very excellent fireworks display. It's going to be shot all during the evening. We got 2 or 3 different deals we're going to do. We're going to have an intermission and shoot quite a few fireworks. So look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night. Carolyn, would you please accompany us out here? Linda, I'd like to say happy birthday to our secretary tonight, Candy. It's her birthday. Gotta wait for George to get over there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how about standing up, taking your hats off? 4th of July weekend, we'd like to do something else. Everybody come out in the wildest colors you can. Bring your red, white, and blue, and let's have a good time tomorrow night. Carolyn's going to do our national anthem now. You ready, Carolyn?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the
Carolyn says she is going to be here tomorrow night, so we're going to make this one special.
Dave and I were talking earlier about maybe y'all can come out tomorrow in red, white, and blue, and you know, it doesn't matter what color as long as it's red, white, and blue, and to celebrate our freedom here in the United States of America. And I think I can't think of any other country to where we can have racing like we do here and in other racetracks. Don't you agree? And be free. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay, we're ready to go. As soon as George gets over here, going to run the heat races out. Got a good field of late models. Got a better field coming tomorrow night. Midget program be the first time tonight we've run the midgets and the late models together, so I think it'll be a real trick-or-treat show. So sit back, enjoy yourselves, get ready for tomorrow night. Then we're really going to shoot some fireworks.
At the last row, Paul Banghar in that number 71 machine. Paul, of course, from Tucson.
On the outside of the last row, also bringing up the field, in the car number 22, a Camaro from Tucson, Dan McRedman.
Let's see what happens. George Camp has got his eye on him as they approach the flight into turn 3, and if they've got him impressed, he'll wave the green. We're off and running on a Friday night. Here come your NASCAR Winston late models, and Marion Smiley bolts him into the lead up there in turn 1. And look who's cutting away inside in that double 55 machine, but Billy Brandon taking it low and inside turn 2. As we mentioned during the hot laps portion, one of those drivers on the edge, progressing week after week after week out here. And look at the progression right now that's counting for the old Laughing Boy as he tries to build up something of a decent lead, a respectable lead on Billy Brandon in 55 and Jim Brassfield in number 26.
Herb Lang pulls her into the pits, number 87 car.
And we're still doing it under the racer's favorite color, green. Marion Smiley in the lead. Billy Brandon running in second place. And Brassfield putting in a good show in the early on in this one. Jimmy Webster is in the top 6, along with John Myers. Paul Banghar is closing rather well now, too. But it's Brandon and Smiley going at it neck and neck, side by side. For a lot of the touring on this one, number 55 in the lead right now into and out of turn 3. Here they come out of turn 4, lap 4. Brandon, Smiley, Brassfield. They're running in that order with John Myers rounding out the top 4. That's the scene as you see them scooping down the back straight now. And taking it high back there, the top 3 leaders in this one. First Brandon in 55, then Marion Smiley and Brassfield.
Brandon smoking just a little bit as he headed into that turn number 1, and he's smoking a lot more going down the back chute.
He's trailing a bunch of it back there. Let's see if that figures in. Right now he's also padding on his lead on the Laughing Boy. Lap number 6, and the smoke becomes more prominent than ever before. And it's going to be interesting to see how that affects our flagman starter as well. Banghar, look at the sheet metal he's got flagging in the breeze on that right rear quarter panel. As Camp waves the white flag for Billy Brandon, and for Billy, he can't wrap up early enough. What with that smoke emitting from the tail end of that machine.
Running into a little bit of traffic. Smiley might be able to catch him if the 25 car won't move out of the way. Look at this, Tom.
It's going to be tight. Let's see what happens. Here they are in 4. Brandon struggling with it and trying to hang on. He will, with about a 2-car length win over Laughing Boy Marion Smiley in that number 9 machine, who's getting inundated by the Brandon smoke. Jimmy Brassfield in number 26, 3rd place, and John Myers in car number 24, winding up 4th.
So here's your winner of your first heat in the car 55. Let's give him a big hand, folks. Bill Brandon. That was a good job of driving by Bill, but I'll tell you what, he's smoking an awful lot there, and it doesn't look like radiator steam. Curious to see if he's going to be back out here for the main event.
Well, you can bet they'll haul that back into the pit field area and get to work on it fast and furious and make every effort when you wear the zebra stripes.
That's right, just like an umpire. No matter what call you make, you're going to make somebody mad.
You're going to be blind no matter what. Now, if these guys at Jerry Cook's pacing can impress camp, we've got us a flying start. We do. We're under the green for our first heat race for the USAC Midgets here this evening. And what a beautiful evening of racing it has turned out to be. And we thank you once again for coming out to Raven Raceway here in 1987. What a dandy show this one's brewing into being this evening. And if it's a dandy tonight, it ought to be almost undescribable tomorrow night. Bob Shoup, one of our Phoenician racers in the 97 machine, in the lead right now, and trying to figure out at this point who's going to bolt, if anybody is, from the rest of the pack out there. Pretty good bunching of them back there. About a 6-7 car battle toward the back of the flight right now. Ernie Payne running in second place. Jerry Cook is in third place right now. Both of them behind Bob Shoup. Phoenician racer in the lead in this one. But can he hang on? Bob Shoup takes the lead in his machine into and out of turn 3. Here they come out of 4 and down the home stretch. And it is tightening up. In fact, Ernie Payne has taken over the lead from Bob Shoup. Shoup now hanging back there in second place as the traffic really gets hectic up there in turn 2, with one of the machines developing some sort of a break and then needing a break from all the other machines in his neighborhood to keep from running him in.
Looks like Jerry Cook in that number 78 midget stalled out coming out of the number 2 corner.
And we've got 4 laps in the book on this one. Our first heat race for the USAC Midgets tonight. After Billy Brandon walks off with the first heat this evening for your NASCAR Winston late models. Four laps in the book. Then this. But a great show for you tonight with at least 51 machines in this field. And the track's surface is obviously in just about optimum shape right now, Jack.
Looking good out there. They're setting their own groove tonight, more toward the center of the track.
Single file stack has been okayed.
Billy Schumann in that number 48 midget was making his way up there toward that last lap just before Jerry Cook spun out, or not spun out, but stalled on that back chute. Let's see how they stack up as they come around. The way they are is the way they are. Or the way they look is. What you get is, well, I don't know.
What you see
is what you get. That's what I'm trying to say.
Although Tina's, is it Tina or Whitney Houston, one of them's new song, what you get is what you see.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad I don't have to introduce that one 15 different times a day, because it always seems oh so contraire to say it that way. Well, looks like he's got his ride now. Looks like he's also got power back in that machine.
So George Camp points at him, points to his rear end, which means you go to the rear of the pack.
That can only mean one thing.
Only spun out one time, so they're going to give him another chance. Spins out again, he goes into the pits. That can only mean one thing. What is that?
What can only mean one thing?
You just said that can only mean one thing.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I wondered where I heard that.
Your memory is getting like mine. Ask me who won the main event.
Huh?
Huh? Duh.
No, well, what I was referring to is that can only mean one thing. When Camp points to his bottom, you know you got to go to the rear of the pack.
Oh, okay.
And one more spin, as you so elegantly put it, you're out of here. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? Let's go racing again with 4 of them in the book. Let's see how many we can add on to it right here with Ernie Payne in the lead and your former leader, Bob Shoup, giving chase now as they go into and out of the back straight. Payne with a nice lead out of 3 and out of 4 and down the home chute now heading into turn 1. And suddenly Shoup is looking up and also looking over his left rear because he's got company out there. Nice little swarm of 5 battling it out for second place in this one. Always nice to see the energies that come forth in these heat races because, well, this is kind of like the pilling, the drawing of the pills for the main event coming up later tonight.
Somebody almost jumped a wheel there in that pack of 5. 1 lap to go, though. The white flag is out right now for Ernie Payne in that 77 USAC Midget.
Well, that's quite a flight of 5 of them there, humming for the number 2 position out of turns 1 and 2. Yaley running in 3rd place, but the checkered flag is out and will in fact fall for Ernie Payne from Phoenix, taking victory here in this one tonight. Dave Burns winding up in 2nd place. Cactus Jack Yaley takes 3rd place. All of this still unofficial. That's how they appeared to stack up here. Payne, Burns, Yaley, and Billy Schumann in that number 48 machine winding up in 4th place. Payne, Burns, Yaley, and Schumann.
In the row number 2, the car number 84, Dana Fight.
Inside row 3, car 48, a Buick driven by Tucson and Lou Malandrone.
On the outside of Malandrone, the car number 74, Carl Trimmer.
And we'll tell you about the rest of the field momentarily, but we're off and running, and the guy from Eloy, Mike Hancock, throws her into the lead in turn 1, but he can't hang on to it. In fact, he gets passed by not 1, but 2, make that 3, 4 machines now before he can make his way around to the 3rd turn. So Hancock has all of a sudden found out he's got some serious competition out here, not the least of which is in the form of Tracy Tolby in the number 19 machine down from Glendale tonight, who is staving off Carl Trimmer right now in that yellow and blue 74 machine of Blue Circle West. Let's see how they do out of 4 and down the home stretch. Carl passes him up on the inside. Jack Moore now running in 3rd place in that 23T orange machine and looking like he might like to have a piece of Mr. Tracy real quick. So Carl Trimmer now sets the pace. Tracy Tolbert looks up to him, or Tracy Tolby. Jack Moore and then Rick Sipes round out your top 4. And right now Sipes and Moore got their own little battle going on. Sipes diving from outside to inside and gets pushed back up to the outside there in turn 2, losing ground and hanging on right now to 4th place.
And Throckmorton right behind Sipes, trying to put the challenge on him.
If anybody can, Jamie can get the job done. Hancock has slidden well off of the early pace that he himself was establishing. Now about a half lap behind the lead car.
And here comes Carl Trimmer running into a little bit of traffic right now. It doesn't look like it's going to slow him up, Tom.
He's got Terry Green in his sights right now. Dana Fight up in front of him. And that's a bunching of traffic back there in turn 2. No place for Carl to go.
It did slow him up. It didn't look like it was going to, but he's slowed up right now. Uh-oh, look out here. And we've got 1 spun out, 2 spun out. Throckmorton.
Great job of driving by Jack Moore to keep it out of further trouble that could have potentially developed up here in turn 1, too. But it was quite a flying mess coming out of turn 4 down there, Jack. We got a bunch of them laid up.
What happened on that one, Tom, was that Jack Moore went sideways, and Malandrone and Throckmorton spun out trying to avoid Moore, and Moore brought it back out onto the racetrack after going into the infield just a little bit.
And as he was coming back out onto the track from the infield area, he had company coming right at him, right up the retaining wall here in front of the grandstand area. That new number 14 that we talked about earlier, that red machine, Terry Green behind the wheel, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Sipes has got some damage right front end. There was a mess of them coming through there. I like that wide stance effect of the Green machine.
Well, George Camp, the car number 23, has something hanging from the rear of that car. That Jack Moore car. Looks like some metal hanging.
In the breeze. So Dave, it would appear, is going to go out and try to get the message delivered to Jack. Yeah, he's got a bunch of
sheet metal hanging.
Sheet metal flapping in the breeze back there. Second heat race for the NASCAR Winston late models. What a show we got brewing for you tonight and tomorrow night too. Got a black flag out there, and Dave Maness and Norman Carlton playing traffic cop.
I think they're going to try to help him out, keep him in the race, and rip the sheet metal off if they can. That's an awful nice gesture by Dave Maness and Carlton and George Camp to keep that car out in the field. So Jack Moore is going to stay in this one. Now that's good sportsmanship. You know, they could have just black flagged him, sent him into the pits, but no, they want to keep him into this
Why do it
next
when you can
heat race?
Give the man the opportunity, the chance to go up and get him a good breakfast afterwards on some racing money at the Triple T or up at Tucson McGraw's. That is a nice touch, though.
George tells him one more time around, let's get him set up right. And tells him line him up, no side by side. Tries to position Dana Fight, Throckmorton in the right positions. Throckmorton having a little bit of sheet metal on the right rear of his automobile, hanging loose.
Throckmorton with a flat tire now, we've been told.
Car number 52 looks like it has a flat tire.
When it rains, it pours. George Camp says, let's do it. Stand on it, gentlemen, and let's see what we can pour out of these machines.
I think Throckmorton just realized he had a flat tire.
Jamie didn't know it before. He does now. And can he get out of here in time? Yeah, he'll make it. Carl Trimmer drags her by in the lead. With that much of a lead on Tracy Tolby. Rick Sipes trying to get this Buds for You car closed in. Jack Moore trying to do a number back there.
And
Mike Hancock, too.
Jack Moore's having problems handling that machine tonight. One more lap to go. The white flag out. The second heat model for the late models. As Trimmer pulls away from the rest of the pack.
Dana Fight having some blues problems galore right now, too, but the checkered flag is out for the man in 74. Carl Trimmer walks off with it in your late model second heat race of this evening, followed by Tracy Tolby, Rick Sipes, and Jack Moore, your top four finishers, Jack.
Well, once Carl took the lead, he had it all the way. Didn't have much of a challenge. So Carl Trimmer wins the second heat race for the late models. Tolby, the car number 19 from Glendale, Arizona, comes in second. Rick Sipes in that Budweiser 4U car winds up in third place, and he's followed in fourth place by that number 23T, Jack Moore.
George Camp has got the green in hand. He eyeballs them, gives them the finger and the yellow, indicating one more at this slower pace, gentlemen.
But they're ready to go anyway.
Those guys are always sitting on ready, even at that joint you were telling me you see them hang out at.
Yeah. Some wild stories go on at that place. So Jerry Coons, the pole sitter, brings him around. Let's see if he brings him around a little bit slower this time. George did not like the way they stacked up. And they really poured it on a little bit too early for George, and they were uneven. But they're side by side right now, Tom.
And he's got the green flag in hand, and he waves it. And here we go again, our second heat race this evening for these guys, the USAC Midgets. Off and running as the smoke from the fracas before them is beginning to clear away. You've got an early leader in Glenn Smith from Tucson in this one in number 66. Here he comes out of turn 4 down the home stretch, and he's got a couple giving real good chase right now. That would be Jerry Coons Jr. in 12A and Rick Johnson in that number 15 machine. That's how the top trio stack up right now, out of 3 into out of 4. Here they are down the home stretch. No significant change, except look out, that number 2 machine trying to cut it up and off and couldn't get it done. In turn 1, Jerry Coons driving an aggressive race, thought he had a chance to get by Smith down there in turn 1. Couldn't get it done, and now coming up 1 lap later, he's still sitting in the same position. And there he goes again. He dives it to the inside and momentarily snatches the lead away, but then cannot hang on to it and loses it again in turn 2. Not the car, but just the lead at this stage. Glenn Smith with a bare minimum lead as they now go into a 4-way battle for first place and carry it down the back chute in lap number 5 coming up.
That's Dave Culp in 4th place right now, trying to make his way on up toward the front, trying to catch up with Glenn and Coons and Johnson.
Culp's had some good charges weeks past, and not surprising to see him running well in this position right here, right now.
Glenn Smith hanging right in there, but everybody's on his rear right now, Tom.
Good looking battle. I just love that Joan Collins kind of talk, Jack. Just teasing.
Or Dr. Ruth.
Let's talk sex now.
Glenn Smith gets the white flag this time.
One to go, and boy, it gets awfully close down there coming out of 4.
And Jerry cuts around him.
1 flag, 1 lap to go. Coons bolts into the lead. Can he hang on to it in the short time that remains in this one? Checkered flag is up. It's about to drop in the right hand of George Camp, and by golly, what a snatching away of victory Jerry Coons pulled for you there in our second midget heat race this evening. A nifty little driving job, and what a strategist he turned out to be over those late laps as well. Coons, Smith, Johnson, and Culp.
Troy Welch, the car number 40, will be on the outside of him, bringing up the field.
Wonder what kind of chatter, if any, is going on between Russell and Boslin right now, running in that second row. One more. So Widwell assumes the position of power here.
Around, and Thompson is supposed to stay right next to him, and he can mess up things. But Whitwell is the one that's responsible for the speed of the pace lap. And they're looking pretty good, Tom. What do you think?
I think we're going to do it. We've got the green, and we've got company in turn 4. Some early bumping and grinding going on, but Widwell gets out of.
Chuck Boslin in that number 90 car into the wall.
98 was all over the place down there. Robert Townsend could not seemingly find a handle on it. And George Camp reluctantly goes to the yellow, but even more reluctantly, Chuck Boslin in that number 90 machine has got some early uninvited and involuntary troubles on his hands. What a sad thing to have happen.
Oh my goodness.
Townsend and Widwell could not get it untangled for the longest time coming out of turn 4. And then when they did, Townsend was just sloppy all over the track. Not sloppy driving. He's just being bounced from point A to point B to point C, and it's a wonder they didn't get more entangled than what they did.
We almost had a 3-car pileup right here on the front straightaway. Well, let's hope Chuck's car is not damaged all that bad. Of course, he went into the wall pretty hard. Looks like he might have messed up that right front.
I wouldn't be surprised. He got a pretty good poke put on that wall down there, and I'll guarantee one thing: that wall
does
ain't
not move.
Gonna give even a breath.
Well, while everybody else was tangling it up, Tom, did you notice Ivan Russel in 17 just snuck his way on the outside and jumped right out into the lead? But we're going to have a complete restart because we did not get one lap under the green. And his car looks like it's damaged. I don't know. It could be just sheet metal. You never know. Maybe back out here.
Kind of hard to tell from this angle, but it didn't look like a lot of shredding had gone on, so maybe they can get it straightened out and banged out in time to get back into the fray tonight. If not here, then hopefully at least later on.
So if you fans are wondering why Ivan Russel is not your leader right now, we did not complete one green flag or one lap under the green flag, so it's a complete restart. The flag that George has in his hand right now, the yellow and red flag, indicates that we're going to start it just the way we had it, except Chuck Boslin will not be in this one.
Looks like they got it smoothed out up front once again. It'll be Widwell and Townsend. And that'll be worth watching, Jack, assuming we go green, especially if we do go green here. It's going to be interesting to see how closely those two operate. Widwell literally took it looked like an open wheel maneuver.
Yes, it did. I failed to mention that, but it looks like he almost climbed a wheel or something there. And they get the yellow once again.
And look how close they are going into that turn 4, even at the yellow pace. So Widwell and Townsend are side by side up front. Russell now has Rapid Roy Gibson sitting to his right. Dwayne Lang now has Ronnie Lutz on his right. And our officials busy on their radios trying to get all things sorted out here, but it'll be one more under the yellow pace. And I'll tell you, Jack, it's going to be interesting, 34 and 98, to see how squirrely or unsquirrely, whichever the case may be, they come out of turn 4 when they know it's full bore.
I don't know if the track is still wet over in that area or what. This is not the first car. Ronnie's not the first driver tonight that had his problems handling. I'll tell you, he almost lost it right there at the green. It could have been a lot worse than it was. Well, George tells him one more time around. Yellow flag still out. The caution flag, as we call it here at Raven Raceway and the other tracks. So we're trying to get Ron Lutz back into the right position right now. So he's looking good. He's next to Russell in that car number 6. So Ron Widwell, your pole sitter on this complete restart in the third heat of the late model division. Townsend on the outside of the first row. Russell on the inside. Ron Lutz on the outside of Ivan Russell. In the second row, Dwayne Lang, Roy Gibson, Jack Kokop, Leroy Welch, and Kevin Clayton. So they head into turn number 3. George Camp looks at him. Here they come out of number 4, and he puts him on the green once again.
Let's go racing. Robert Townsend responds first and best. But look at that 4-way battle out of turn 1 for second place. Ivan Russell appears to be winning it, diving low and taking it on the inside down the backstretch. Now he will set up on Townsend in the lead. Robert Townsend, 98. Ivan Russel right behind him at number 17. And then Ronnie Widwell in the number 34 machine, an earlier leader in this very race, now running in third place.
And Ron Lutz trying to hang in there right behind Ron Whitwell in the number 6 Southwest Stucco car.
Look at that. Ivan Townsend in the rear end right here in front of the homestand area. Gives him a little power assist. We got one, Strange. And getting out of the way of Harm and up into the infield down there. Losing it coming out of turn 1. And so we are induced to yellow once again.
Looks like Ron Whitwell in 34.
3 laps are now in the book on this, your third heat race for the NASCAR Winston late models, as Whitwell goes awry coming out of turn 1. He was running in third place, and a storm was brewing right over his shoulder either way he looked. He had 4 cars right on him. I don't know if they tapped down there like Ivan Russel and Townsend tapped here in front of the grandstand, Jack, but I would say as close as they were and as hard as they were running, it's a good chance that's what's happened up there as well.
Well, that tap that Russell gave Townsend from up here, sometimes it doesn't look real hard, but I'll tell you, when you're sitting behind that wheel, it feels like you've really been jolted.
Well, it was at least a love tap.
Well, a little bit more than that, I think.
Oh, mercy.
So it looks like Townsend is going to be your current leader right now, because Russell is going to be in second place, and Lutz in that car number 6 currently running third, and Roy Gibson right behind Lutz in that number 61 car. So George is going to try to get him squared away right now.
Lang, Cocott, Welch, and Clayton are also Rands currently in this one. But that's not to say it won't change, and they won't all of a sudden find themselves up there in the main fray with the likes of the Townsends, the Russells, Lutz, and Gibson. Two laps down in this one. Widwell flags it around, trying to latch on. Alacaboose. Yellow and the finger from Camp indicating one more gentleman.
So Townsend leads him on and around one more time.
This will be an interesting shot, too, I project, Jack, as they come launching off of turn 4 here. What we had not too many circuits ago was that real nice bump from Ivan Russell on Robert Townsend. Might just see it happen again, or perhaps Ron Lutz will opt to move up and put a little tap on Russell.
And Whitwell back in this one, bringing up the rear, and here we go, green again.
We've got the green, and here we go. Ivan Russell bolts on the outside, and so does Rapid Roy Gibson. See if Roy can hang on to it out of turn 1 and 2, and sure enough, he does. He's running in second place right now, and there's some other passing news back there. But up here, coming out of 4 and into the home stretch, it's none other than Ivan Russell, followed by Rapid Roy Gibson. And look at that little 2-car risky for
Jack Cocott jumping into
place.
third.
Cocott having his steady drives over weeks past. Another one of those handed right on the racer's edge or the danger zone, which some say you've got to accomplish. Jack Cocott in number 94, ahead of Ron Lutz in the number 6 machine.
Dwayne Lang in the car number 88 heads around into the pit, so Dwayne's out of this one.
But Ivan Russell is always tough, but never so quite like he is when he's in the early lead. That's what he's got here. Put a with it right now, leaving Gibson, Cocott, and Lutz eating his dust.
Well, if Gibson's going to catch him, he's going to have to start making a move right now because Russell is looking real good out there, opening up the gap as he comes out of number 2 corner.
Yellow flag. Tumbles in the right hand of George Kemp. Under yellow and caution once again.
Well, Kevin Clayton in the number 44 car heads it into the pits right now, so he's going to be out of this one, unless he can get back out here in time. And what is the reason for the yellow? Can you tell?
I haven't seen a thing.
Now it looks like some debris out on the back straightaway, and that must be the reason we got the yellow flag out right now.
These guys must have eyes of eagles.
Better than mine. 5 laps down in this 3rd heat race for the NASCAR Winston late models.
So can Russell come out of this one to join his fellow drivers Billy Brandon and Carl Trimmer, who've already planted wins tonight? Seems he has a fairly commanding situation here, Jack, but given the situation of these cautionary yellows and single filing them and packing them back up, one never knows. And it certainly doesn't take long for what's a plum to go sour.
I'll tell you what, Ivan Russell looking mighty fine out on the racetrack tonight.
He usually does. Let's see how fine George Kemp looks. He looks on him real fine and says, okay, I'm impressed. Let's go racing. Green flag falls. Ivan Russell stands on it into turn 1. Rapid Roy trying to close it up, unable so far to get the job done. Jack Cocott, Ron Lutz trying to put their own moves on, and time running out in this one. Here comes Ivan off turn 4 down the home stretch, building up as he did earlier. A sizable lead now on the number 2 position, which currently is in the hands of Rapid Roy. Jack Cocott, Ron Lutz, Robert Townsend, and Ronnie Widwell, along with the flying farmer from Wilcox, Leroy Welch, trying to close things up. Russell gets the white flag. 1 lap to go.
Oh, look at this. Here comes Cocott on the inside of Gibson, so we've got one whale of a battle for 2nd place right now.
Now the checkered falls for Russell in the number 17 machine, and look at him trying to go side by side.
Couldn't do it.
Rapid Roy is able to hang on to it over Jack Cocott and Ron Lutz.
So Ivan Russell wins this 3rd heat in the late model division, pulling away from everybody else. We had a battle there going on for 2nd and 3rd. Looked like Cocott might have had Gibson, but he just quite couldn't pull it off as he lost it a little bit. Looked like he overdrove that coming out of number 4 corner.
It's Ivan Russell, Roy Gibson, Jack Cocott, and Ron Lutz. So Russell does in fact join the likes of Trimmer and Brandon. Tighten it up a little bit with your neighbor. Share a hug. The racing fraternity on a Friday night. Wasn't that long ago you couldn't find anything to do in racing on a Friday night. We found it this Friday night, and George Kemp honors it. Says, okay, I'll drop the green on this sucker, and let's watch Jerry Rice see how she can do right off the top in her little USAC midget machine. And I'll tell you right now, the answer's already in. She's doing quite well. They're scattered out, don't look to be bunched up, don't look to be any trouble spots out there right now, and running away with it. Randy Rusty Rasmussen from Fresno in the lead. Doug Nelson from Tucson would like to close things up. Donnie Sink would like to do likewise. But right now, it's all number 38, Rasmussen, with a 2-car battle brewing behind him for 2nd place. Then a gap before the 4 cars who round out the rest of this field.
And look at the left front tire coming off the ground as Rasmussen brings him around number 4 corner. Way up in the air it went.
Nelson now running solidly in 3rd place in that number 40 machine and bites his way into 2nd place up there in turn 1. Now hangs on to it and more down the backstretch. Look at Nelson power and dive in turn 3 and pulls himself right into the lead position in that number 40 machine. We saw him one night flip-flop doing it on the top out of turn 4. Not so tonight. He's got the right side down, the wheels and gears are churning, and it's Doug Nelson in the lead in this one with a bit of a lead on Rusty Rasmussen and Jerry Rice. Lap number 6. That's how they stack up right now.
Jerry Rice hanging right in there, Tom, behind Rasmussen.
She's running 3rd and a comfortable 3rd right now and keeping her 2 worthy opponents in sight. She's got them in her gun sights. And maybe, just maybe, her thinking right now, although we are getting late in this one as the white flag is about to be dropped by starter George Camp. We've got obviously 1 lap to go. Jerry is still in 3rd place. Can she close on Rasmussen or preferably Doug Nelson? It doesn't look like anybody's going to get the job done in this one. It looks like Doug Nelson will run off with it.
Well, we just found out that Kent Zimmerman is driving that 38 car.
Doug Nelson drives off to victory. Kent Zimmerman takes 2nd place. 3rd place going to Jerry Rice and Don Sink, Alan Thome, John Zerby, and Scott Summers unable to close it up. On your leaders in that one.
Number 48 in the 4th row.
Kevin Clayton in car number 44 and Herb Lang in 87.
And Jamie Throckmorton Jr. in 52 and Dwayne Lang in number 88.
Chuck Bosland in that number 90 machine.
If Chuck makes it back out here.
If he can get out here. And Jim Hokinson in car number 57, bringing up the rear in this particular flight as they now get George Camp's fullest attention.
Well, it looks like car number 51 that Jim is driving tonight. Little misprint there.
So one more will do it, or will it do it?
So Kevin Clayton makes his way back out onto the racetrack. Don't think Chuck Bosland's going to make it out here for this one, Tom.
That's a shame, too. Chuck's done some impressive running in weeks past, and it's almost like he never even got a chance to get into this one tonight because of the way that mess up took him out of it. It's a particular shame to not get a grind or 2 around this circle.
And Leroy Welch is going to be out of this one also, that number 40 car from Wilcox. What do you think, Tom?
Green flag falls. You better believe it. Let's go racing. And that look again on this Friday night. Terry Green tries to power by on the outside. Can't get it done and has to settle for 2nd best out of turn 1. 2 of them going fender to fender and side by side, trying to get into 3rd position. But up front, Terry Green trying to close it on that number 22 machine, the Alamo Cafe car of Dan McRedman. good string of cars behind your top three right now, too, Jack.
Look at Dwayne Lane coming all the way up from the rear in 4th position right now.
One of them doing a fast fade, almost creating a situation up in turn 2, but it wasn't a bit too early. Flashers, McRedman and Green running 1-2 and all by themselves right now, cut off as they are from the rest of the pack. Ron Widwell is running a good 3rd place right now, though a little bit of distance between he and Terry Green in the O'Reilly Chevy machine, the red car, in 2nd place, trying to close it up on Isn't He a Real Gentleman, Dan McRedman, the Ajo Cafe man. Here he comes out of turn 4. Terry Green trying to close it up. Ron Widwell doing likewise, and followed by Dwayne Lang, currently running in 3rd place.
And Dwayne smoking up a storm once again as he come out of that number 2 corner. So McRedman brings him down the front chute. Terry Green right behind him. Just a few car lengths back, and Red Widwell behind Green.
And look at the right rear corner of Clayton's machine flapping in the breeze. Looks like maybe some tape putting on as we reach the halfway point. NASCAR Winston late model semi main event tonight. Midway as we reach. Nobody likes that sound right now any better than Dan McRedman in the lead machine, car number 22, being chased by number 14, Terry Green, the red machine, coming up right there. And then Ron Widwell, feeling very careful, dual flags flying in 3rd place. And Dwayne Lang with the number 88 machine, currently running 4th in this one. So far, it's Lane and Lane are still on the green. Lane and White up in turn 1. He's got leaders to think about now, and they're going to try to traffic their way by him down the action. McRedman gets into a bit of a problem with Dana Fight back there, too.
Having a hard time getting around him, and here comes Terry Green.
Now he's got some other company, and Green's going to try to take a stab at him on the inside. He does, but does not get the job done. So McRedman had his problems with Fight back there in turn 3. Looked to me like they should have been able to make the pass without any trouble. But oh no, they got together and it almost cost Dan McRedman the lead. Terry Green closed up on it real well. Now look at Widwell going high and wide into turn 1, and Ronnie takes the lead away. He snatches the lead right out of the hands of McRedman.
And look at Brockmorton jumping into 2nd place.
Terry Green passing on the outside, Throckmorton on the inside, and Throckmorton comes out the better for it. Widwell gets the white flag. He's got 1 lap to go. What timing? Ronnie in the double flag machine tonight.
Throckmorton just grabbed the lead from Widwell.
Jamie trying to hang on to it in turn 3, low and inside, and looks like he will get the job done. So a very exciting finish to our late model semi main event tonight with Jamie Throckmorton.
What a good job of driving. Here he is, your winner of the semi-main event, Jamie Throckmorton.
So unofficially, they stack up like this. Jamie Throckmorton Jr. in the B-52 machine, your winner, followed by Ron Widwell in number 34. Terry Green in number 14 taking 3rd, and Lou Malandrone in the number 48 machine, winding up in 4th place in your semi-main event.
And we'll see those 4 cars back out here in the main event, coming up after intermission.
Manus.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to take a time, I don't know how many of you was here at the last Midget show, but this is Dave Burns standing here next to me with a crutch, 2 crutches, broken leg, some red eyes. He's a gentleman that took the nasty ride over here in turn 2. For those of you that do remember, he spent about a week in the hospital. The spirits are good, but it's glad to see him back. Hi, Dave. How are you? Fine. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. It'll be a couple of months before I get this leg out of the cast to get back.
He says a couple months before he gets his leg out of the cast. How about a nice round of applause to say Dave Burns from Casa Grande? We appreciate it. Another little special thing. Where's Jeffer? Come here, Jeff. This is Jeff Hibner. A lot of you know him. It's Bob Hibner's one of the two boys that run out here. Jeff, you got his ride.
I got what?
What are you driving here?
I'm driving Dave's car.
The old one or the new one?
Well, it's the old one. No, not the one that wrecked.
Okay, not the one that wrecked, but Dave Burns does have two cars. He's worried about getting his car back together to go to Belleville, which is the Nationals. But like we keep telling him, he's got a lot of time. So anyways, but Jeff's driving his backup car, so Jeff Hibner's in the backup car. We wanted to thank Dave Burns personally for coming down here tonight and letting us know that you're okay, buddy. And you look good, and get well and get out here and stand on the gas again.
I'll be back real soon.
Okay, Davey. Thank you very much. Tom Boyd, we're ready to go. George Campbell, get in the rear. Go ahead and announce them. I got to take a radio up there. Okay, George. Go ahead, Tom. We're going to start in the rear announcing. I'll be right up.
Always difficult to know when to shut the microphone off when the man who's using that microphone owns the track. You know what I mean? We start him out the same way. If I got power, am I on? Flag, and he's back there toward the back of the pack, so let's begin introducing him a little bit formal for you for your USAC Midget main event tonight.
We got first, George.
Story of your life. Let's go.
What a character, George Camp.
Oh, some of his responses.
Okay, bringing up the rear tonight in tonight's USAC Midget main event, the car number 11 from Tucson, owner Grace Nelson, Buddy Nelson.
The number 78 machine tonight from Bowie, Arizona, Jerry Cook.
And the car number 45T from El Paso, Texas, sponsored by El Paso Gun Exchange Incorporated. The car number 45T, Jerry Sr.
The number 65 car down from Mesa tonight, driven by Scott Summers.
And the car number 94 from Tucson, and he's looking for sponsors, Mike Williams.
Car number 12 from Tucson. A lot of cheering in past weeks for him, and no doubt the same tonight. At the wheel, Donnie Sink.
In the car number 98AZ, sponsored by Rice House Racing Incorporated, J&J Muffler. Car number 98AZ, John Zerbe.
The 07 machine, as we mentioned earlier, and you may have missed, over from El Paso, Texas tonight, driven by Dennis Pellicati.
And the car number 81. And he's looking for sponsors. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada, Peter Bitroff.
The 97 AZ machine down from Phoenix tonight, Bob Shoup at the wheel. Sponsored by ESI and looking for more sponsors. So if you're in the crowd and would like to, hop on.
And the car number 88 from Mesa, Arizona, Alan Thome.
Number 90 machine, also down from Phoenix tonight. At the wheel, Dave Culp.
And the car number 48 from Phoenix, owned by Billy Schumann and driven by Billy Schumann.
Car number 26 from Tucson, sponsored by Ron's Racing Products, Jerry Rice.
And the car number 15 from Phoenix, Arizona, owner Mary Weiler, Rick Johnson. And that's sponsored by Weiler Farms.
Down from Phoenix tonight, the number 1 blue machine of Cactus Jack Yaley.
And the car number 66 from Tucson, the owner Grandpa Smith, sponsored by Mystic Boatwork, and the paint job by Alan Signs, also sponsored by Dr. Gordon Langston, Ashton Construction, Ironworks, car number 66, Glenn Smith.
The number 12A machine from Tucson, sponsored by Automotive Parts and Machines, Jerry Coons Jr.
And the USAC Midget number 40 from Tucson with the owner Clyde Nelson, car number 40, Doug Nelson.
The 73 machine from Casa Grande of Dave Burns with Jeff Hibner at the wheel tonight.
On the outside of the front row from Tucson, owned by Vinnie Payne, the car number 77, Ernie Payne.
And on the pole tonight, that car number 38 from Fresno, California, Randy Rusty Rasmussen at the wheel. Okay, that's the machine with Kent Zimmerman at the wheel tonight, out of Phoenix. So there's your field all set for your main event for the USAC Midget Racers.
Don't have any mishaps like we had with Dave Burns. Have some good, clean racing in the main event on a July 3rd.
Like to see these guys get her off and keep it going under the green.
That would be nice. Well, there's an ATC or a four-wheeler quad parked over there, right around the number 4 corner. If that was mine, I would not have it sit there.
Stacking them up now.
4 abreast.
The open wheel men and their most amazing machines.
What a beautiful sight.
At 4 abreast here, I think it's time we did a little Raven wave, folks. Beginning with the lead car when they get directly in front of you down here at the north end of the grandstands. Come to your feet and remain standing for a moment or two. And let's see what kind of a wave we can produce. Let's do a practice wave right here. North end of the grandstands. When the lead 4 are directly in front of you, stand up. And let's see what kind of a wave we get going here out of you group tonight.
Yeah!
Not a bad one at all. And as the pace picks up, so does the frenzy in that Raven wave. And there is really no better way than by producing a swallacious wave to let these guys know that you come to see them run and run full tilt. And that's what they'll do. So on this pass, whether it's yellow or green, let's give them the real Raven wave here in your main feature event for the USAC Midgets. North end of the grandstands, get ready to rise on those front 4. When they're directly in front of you, come up. think we've got the momentum going, Jack. I think we're going to assume green here, and also a very rapid Raven wave. So beginning at the north end of the grandstands, well, let's blow it off.
Yeah,
he's got
to get them sorted out just a little bit. They're not lined up quite like they should be right now.
Let's forget it on this pass. Don't spend ourselves. We'll forego this third practice, and we'll give them the real wave on the next go-around, because George has got that stance about him, doesn't he, Jack? That
sure
body
does.
English that tells him, come on.
Get it together.
I want to get out of here. I've got breakfast waiting for me at Triple T, and you guys are spoiling it. That favorite Miami wine. Okay, north end of the Raven Raceway grandstands. Here you go. When that lead set of cars gets in front of you, stand up and let's give them the Raven wave. I think we're going to do green. We do. Let's give them the wave now. Up, 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 up. Pretty good. Pretty good job all the way around. And these guys are keeping it clean despite the dense traffic through turns 1 and 2. They're managing to keep it sorted out. We got a bump, though, back there in turn 3. But some superb driving. It keeps it in control. And also in the hunt in this one. We're off and running. We've got green early. They're running lean and clean so far. Looking real good. Heading into circuit number 2. Ernie Payne, as he looked so awesome earlier on this evening, looking real dominant and strong here once again. Payne, Yaley, and Nelson at the top of the pack, and it's a mighty thick and long running pack right now. They're bunched up. 4-car battle right now going on for 3rd place, and then bunches and bunches after that. Cactus Jack trying to do his thing on the outside in turn 1 here in the early on. He could not get it done. It continues to give chase to Ernie Payne in that number 77 machine. Cactus Jack closing up the gap as best he can in that number 1 machine on lap number 4. Out of turn 1 into turn 2. Cactus beginning to put some juices to it. It looks like he's unable to pull into the lead down the back chute. So Yaley continues in 2nd place right now. Ernie Payne setting the early pace in this one. Jerry Coons and Jeff Hibner would like to think they are also in the thick of it. They are right now in the top 4. Cactus Jack, an unsuccessful bid to pass on the outside down the back chute. Can he get it done here in the home straight? It doesn't look like he'll be able to. Ernie Payne continues and takes the lead in turn 1. Likewise, coming out of turn 2 with Cactus Jack trying to close it up and also stave off the oncoming Jerry Coons in that 12A machine. That's how they're running right there. You see it with a bit of a gap then until Jeff Hibner in 4th place. Got a pass coming out of turn 1. Jack Yaley takes the lead and then gives it up coming out of turn 2. Some seesaw going on up at the front of the pack, and we've got a smoker heading out to the pit field right now just as the leaders come flashing by and spitting fire out of those exhausts up there in turn 1. Yaley still giving chase down the back straight in 2nd position, turn 3. Let's see how they stack up. Jack coming out of 4. Here they are on a line. Yaley trying to take it on the outside into turn 1. Unable to get the job done.
We've got one spun out.
One arrive. We've got yellow. We're under caution with a squirrel up in the turn 1 area. So the field will slow for that one. But a good run in the early on, and Ernie Payne, who looked awfully swell in the heat portion tonight. He won the first heat for these USAC Midgets. Yaley took 3rd and Schumann 4th back then. 8 laps are gone in this one, so we chewed off that many in the flashing of an eye. on this one. Of a main event for the USAC Midgets, Jack.
Well, they all look good out there right now. Single file. George tells them, no, no, no.
Not good enough to go here. He's going to keep the yellow out for at least one more.
Well, number 38, Kent Zimmerman, has a flat tire, and he's trying to make his way into the pits. Just couldn't make it in there this time. So once we get Kent off the field, we'll get the racing back underway. Kent Zimmerman with a little tough luck. Kent from Phoenix, Arizona, and that car number 38.
He's got one more lap now in order to get it drug off.
What surprises me, he's had a flat tire for the last 4 laps, and he just now realized it.
Yeah, it is.
So Zimmerman heads it into the pits. 8 laps down in this 30-lap main event for the USAC Midget main event here at Raven Raceway. What do you think, Tom?
Green's in Camp's hand, and it's going to fly because he wants to fly out of here. And Payne has looked awfully good so far in this. Cactus Jack, with a lot of sly fox in him, though, is no fool, and he loves sitting there on the right rear quarter panel of the leader. He would rather be sitting in front, and as soon as he sees opportunity coming knocking, which may be right about now, he will get the job done. Sure enough, he does it low to the inside, but like what happened to him before, he gives the lead right back away. Only this time, he revolts into the lead himself out of turn 2, and Cactus Jack is the one they're looking up to, heading into the 10th lap of 30. 10 of 30 is what we're working on right here. Yeah, all by himself up top of the class, and then that 5-car battle right now for second place as we go to yellow once again.
Oh, look out here in the front straightaway! Missed him. Whew, that was close. We've got one spun out between 1 and 2, and that's why the yellow came out. But right after the yellow came out, we've got one spun out here right after turn number 4.
And a lucky position up here in turn 4 to be in that broadside position right there in that particular angle on that corner, and to find all of your friendly competition able to get by, either to the inside or, as in that particular case, most of them passing to the outside. So attrition does begin to be quite a factor here, Jack. We've reduced the 22-car field to what you see is what you get. And 10 laps of the 30 that make this up are now in the book. And we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 left, 5 gone. So Cactus Jack leads the snake of the single file around. I see Buddy Nelson hanging back there right now in about 6th place in that number 40 machine out of Tucson. Still need a push up here in turn 1. So 1/3 of it's gone. 2/3 of it remain. And then we've still got the big main for the NASCAR Winston late modelers. What a show that one ought to be with Billy Brandon. taking the first heat race tonight for those guys. Then Trimmer comes back, takes the second heat race of the evening. And then Ivan Russel rounds it out in the third heat for those guys, joining the likes of Nelson, Coons, and Payne as your earlier winners tonight. Heat winners for the USAC Midgets. And add Brockmorton to the victory lane that is growing here tonight. He has waltzed off with the semi-main event for the NASCAR Winston late model. So, good show, Jack, all the way around.
Speaking of Jack Yaley, Cactus Jack. I can't talk tonight, I swear. It must be something in the air. Cactus Jack leading them around. Ernie Payne in second. Jerry Coons running third. Billy Schumann fourth. Jeff Hibner bringing it up to fifth place. Doug Nelson, number 40, car in sixth. Glenn Smith right now in seventh place in that car number 66, followed by Rick Johnson and Dennis Pellicate.
So we'll do one more. That's what the yellow flag and George Camp's giving him the finger at this point would indicate. So Doug Nelson, who's running along in sixth place right now. Oh boy, look at the pace suddenly slow and swell back there down the back chute, Jack.
And the green goes out, Tom.
Yep, it does. In fact, we've got racing again. Cactus Jack says, okay, guys, watch this.
Uh-oh, one popped up into the air. Started to climb a wheel, but back down again.
Got another one awry up there. High enough, though, he may be able to stay out of trouble in turn one. And does. And guess what, folks? We are still but 10 laps gone in this one.
So we've got one spun out between 1 and 2. Before we got the green flag, Jerry Cook in that car number 78 AZ headed it into the pits. So it looks like Jerry's out of this one.
Not yet, says George Camp. Apparently he wants to switch a couple of them around yet, so he and his official mates will try to get that word conveyed to whoever it is an infraction, at least in their minds at the time. These guys are getting anxious, you can just sense it. They're getting thick with tension and wanting the green to come out. George Camp senses that too.
I like the way Cactus Jack leads him around nice and slow before he hits number 3 corner.
Well, he knows what his own advantage probably is, so we'll find out right here. Cactus Jack leads the pack. We've got green once again, and he leads them into and out of turn 1. And they seem to be doing it fairly cleanly despite a lot of close proximity between a bunch of machines between turns 1 and 2. Down here out of 4 and up the home stretch, Cactus Jack, the #1 blue machine, continues to set the leading pace here. Ernie Payne, who was an earlier leader in this one, is now running in second place. Jerry Coons hanging in there in third place, and Billy Schumann has now battled his way up to 4th spot. So we'll keep a close eye on those. There is the gap in your top 5 machines, and it's not a whole lot between positions 2, 3, 4, 5. racing machine. Here he comes out of 4 and down the home stretch. We have reached midway. We are halfway through on your USAC Midget main event tonight. Cactus Jack Haley continues to lead. Ernie Payne continues to give chase. And Billy Schumann has now punched that number 48 machine up to 3rd place. But we've got yellow, and we're under the caution once again because of a breakdown up in turn 2. But at least we have reached a little beyond halfway, midway in this main event.
Looks like Doug Nelson in number 40, USAC Midget, just dying out there, going down the back chute. And we'll get the push truck out for Doug Nelson right now. Number 65, Scott Summers, heads around into the pits tonight.
Number 11 there, Buddy Nelson. Doug's brother is still running in the fray, but he's got, what, 3, 6, 8 cars ahead of him. So Buddy is currently slinking back there in 9th position. Anxious probably at this point to see how brother Doug fares out there with regard to getting it recranked. And we need a bump and a grind up here in turn 4. Looks like they've got them pretzeled together up there, Jack. So a couple of guys are literally trying to pry them apart by hand.
And they do.
And I haven't seen Doug Nelson back in the field. So I guess that's him on the low side of turn 3. So we've got 4 of them currently not in a running state.
That's good verbiage.
Yeah, it's like painting yourself into a corner at times,
Yes.
isn't it?
I do that all the time.
Not holding hands, but
oh yeah, you are.
Anxious to see. Tick, 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 tick. I was going to rent Heartbreak Ridge tonight.
Ah. Well,
maybe I will, and maybe I won't.
maybe she loves me, and maybe she don't.
All depending on what happens in half of this main and a whole main coming up yet.
Well, that's number 94, Mike Williams, and he's back under his own power once again, so he'll be back into this one, but he'll be trailing up the rear.
And maybe we'll have this cleaned up for you very shortly and back to doing it under the racer's favorite color of green. Cactus Jack looking real swell in the portion that he's led. Ernie Payne was rather impressive during when he led. One of the come from behinds here that I think is worthy of mentioning, Jack, is Billy Schumann in the number 48 machine. A pair of Phoenix cars in Yaley and Schumann's machines, Payne from Tucson. Jeff Hibner currently running along in 4th place. Jerry Coons is situated 5th. Rick Johnson and Dennis Pelicati out of El Paso, Texas.
Looks like that's it for the evening for Bob Shoup in that number 97 AZ car. Bob's in the center of the infield. Also number 40. That's Doug Nelson. And look at the front end of that vehicle. Whew.
Got some problems up front right now.
Looks like if they have tie rods on those, he's got some tie rod problems. He's got a front end suspension problem. George Camp looks at him.
16 men and their machines go racing once again as we try to wrap up this USAC Midget main event. Oh my goodness, it got awfully tight down there getting into turn 1, but they seemingly have done so cleanly with one losing power up there in 2, and then it looks like it came right back. And so coming right back is Cactus Jack Haley right back into the lead. Although, as a result of that yellow, they're a little bit closer to him now than what they were not so many minutes ago. He will do everything in his power to reopen up that lead. It'll be interesting to see how he does it, if in fact he can do it. Right now, that's how it stacks up. Cactus Jack on top, followed by Bernie Payne, who is currently running second, and Billy Schumann running third. Can Schumann close it up? It looks like he has begun to do so into turn 3. Let's check it right here, Jack. Cactus Jack flashing by, and then he's got his 4 hottest pursuers out of the rest of the field, and the pass goes on between 4th and 5th position, and they're seesawing it back and forth between those 2 little yellow machines. Yellow flag and yellow caution lights. Once again with one awry high up there in turn 3, and almost, if not right against the railing, very close to it up there. Jerry Coons has retired, hopefully temporarily, to the pit field. 18 laps are now gone, so 12 is what remains in this one.
And another one of our front runners, Billy Schumann, is in the center of the infield right now. So it looks like Billy may be out of this one.
Billy was certainly making a good climb in the latter stages before we reached this particular juncture. Watching him slowly but surely move up to 5th, 4th, running along in 3rd. Buddy Nelson gone to the pits in that number 11 car. He did an impressive number in winning a heat race out here several weeks ago. Has had several good runs since then. Seemingly each week getting a little bit more knowledge of this track and what it takes to do it the best. So we'll do one more. One more, and then we'll fly them again and wind them all up, send them off, see who, if anybody, can close it up on Jack Yaley. Yaley, Payne, Burns, Culp, and Johnson. That's how they're running right now. Green again. Here we go, and there they go. They being airborne Cactus Jack, trying to close it up. Can they get it done? Jack takes the lead out of 1, out of 2, down the back chute. And boy, they're spreading out faster now, Jack. Of course, there's not as many machines out there.
We lost a whole bunch of them.
Attrition has been unlimited in this one so far. And you got to think it tends to run in cycles, so it'll be interesting to see if we can keep this one lean, mean, under the green, or if it gets a little bit more of a break in the action. Right now, Jack Yaley says, hey, I don't care. I'm up front, and I'm going to stay this way as long as I can. Bernie Payne trying to close it off and can't, and Payne all of a sudden has his hands full of Jeff Hibner trying to snatch the second place away from him, but not able to get the job done, at least not yet, not on this particular lap.
Look at Jack Yaley starting to open up that gap for the rest of the field.
He's been able to do that each time he has had the lead tonight, Jack, and that's what makes you think there may be no chance for anybody back there in that pack without a late caution. Of course, you have very, very little ability to do that. Another spin down there coming out of turn 1, and he luckily is able to keep it out of the main stream of traffic. But we will go to yellow once once again. 22 laps. That'll be so long to that driver. The second spin on the number 88 machine will put Alan Thome out of Mesa right out of this one. So attrition continues to eat away at this field. And Jack Yaley continues to, every time he gets a lead, open it up so far.
Well, that yellow is going to bunch up what is left out on the racetrack anyway. But I'll tell you what, Jack Yaley is looking mighty fine out on the track in this main event.
Right now, he's got 8 laps looking at him, Jack, in which to once again rebuild that lead.
There's only 11 cars left in this main event.
This one lost half its field almost in one fell swoop.
Uh-oh. What about number 12? What's he doing? No, he's not going in the pits. I thought maybe perhaps he was headed that way, but he's going to stay out here.
Donnie Sink will opt to stay in the fray each and every time it's possible for him to do so. If he had 4 flat tires and could get away with it, he would go racing on them in lieu of having to do anything but. Green flag is in George Camp's hand. He's got the itch. We've gone racing once again. Could this be for all of it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's find out. Cactus Jack leads him into turn 1. This is as close as they get when we come off of these yellow periods. And Yaley, if his earlier tonight representation is still with him, is going to open it up right about here. And he has already. First lap of resumption. It's Cactus Jack setting the pace. Ernie Payne trying to close it up likewise. Jeff Hibner, Dave Culp, Rick Johnson, and Glenn Smith, who ran so well earlier on this evening, now inching his way toward the front of the pack too, but it is the 11th hour here.
Well, if the last laps were any indication, Tom, we're going to be having a battle for second place and not first place, because there goes Cactus Jack once again opening up the margin right now and leaving the rest of the field behind him, 7 or 8 car lengths.
Looks like at least a 4-car battle for second place, as you say, 7, 8, 10 laps, 10 lengths back. And what was done earlier seems to be being fairly easily done by Jack Yaley here. That is, open it up, let the time run out. He knows it's getting late in this one, and he's got a rather hefty lead now building. He's a full turn ahead of the rest of the field, but at least they're running clean. No squirrels, no mishaps, no entanglements, none of those hellacious rough rides that we have seen plenty of in weeks past. Cactus Jack, blue number 1, and there's why. He's running this one truly like he owns it.
Well, here comes your leader, Cactus Jack Yaley, and if he can hang on, or just keep driving the way he's driving, he's going to have this one wrapped up unless he runs into some kind of mechanical problem or whatever.
Yaley, as he awaits the white flag indicating 1 lap to go, is probably remembering very well his 3rd place finish in the first heat race this evening. He took 2nd place behind Ernie Payne then, and now, strangely enough, Payne is one who's chipping away at his lead here in the main event and trying to get the job done. Nice little battle for 2nd place, but there for the checkered flag, no question. Cactus Jack Yaley all the way. Dave Culp hangs on for 2nd place. Ernie Payne, an earlier leader in this one tonight, falls off to 3rd place. And Jeff Hibner winds up taking 4th. Jack?
And Ernie Payne was in 2nd place just about the entire race here. And Dave Culp, just on the last lap, slipped up on the inside of him and took a good second place. Good job of driving, Dave Culp. And your leader and winner of this main event in the USAC Midget Division. Let's give him a big hand, folks. Cactus Jack Yaley. Yeah, we've got Octile. I can't even. You say it. I can't even say it. Octile Yaley up in the press box with us. I'll tell you, I'm having my problems tonight.
Culp officially comes in second, Ernie Payne in third, and Jeff Hibner taking fourth place. So that wraps up our main event for the USAC Midget Division. Now we're going to get set up for the main event for the NASCAR Winston Late Mile.
With the show, those guys have already given us in the 8 semi-phases tonight. Can you imagine what it'll be like? The Brandon won the first heat race for these guys tonight.